Everybody just keep waving. Just kidding. Here comes.
Be my guest, Missy.
What?
Oh, you said you'll just keep waving, and I was like, be my guest.
Admit.
How is everybody?
Tired.
Juan looks like a little cockroach eating at the table. That was cute, Juan.
Thank you.
Come in, Alik. More. We still can see that bright light behind you. Blinded by the light. You're good, Paige. Just waiting for a few more. Y'all have a good evening.
What did you say, Missy?
Did you all have a good evening?
Yeah.
I slept in a tent, so
Slept in a tent?
I did.
Has anybody heard, specifically Garrett, have you heard from Zach?
So yesterday, he told me he was having technology issues and his Wi-Fi was having issues and he couldn't join. I can try to give him a call one more time, but he says everything has been receiving slow and he's having a lot of issues with his Wi-Fi.
Hang on 1 second, I gotta answer a question. No, we do not have Zoom today. Sorry, I will let you know. Administration has said that today is B day. So we will meet with A day tomorrow. Your school time, 8 o'clock or 12 o'clock for PM students.
Chair that I'm sitting in is huge.
All right, sorry guys. We don't have enough people. We're missing, who are we missing? Oh, people trying to come in. Hold on, let me get them in.
We're missing Anna, Kaylee, Zach, Drake.
Here comes Kaylee.
Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Brianna.
Oh, Brianna, how come you're here?
Oh, she dipped. She just like dipped. She's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was. Like,
I was so confused.
Oh,
Nice background there, Zane.
So Brianna's probably gonna send me, yeah, Zane's here. So I'm sorry, I missed something with, about Zane because I was talking on the phone.
Oh, I was just listing people who weren't in yet.
Garrett, are you trying to find him? You're
let's see.
muted, honey, so I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can try to shoot him a text real quick personally to see if he'll
Okay.
respond to it.
And what did you tell me about Zach? You said that he's having technical difficulties?
He has been having issues with his Wi-Fi, and all of his text and calls are coming in slow. So I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, I will have somebody get on that and see if they can get him something better. You guys know where he lives? Anybody know where he lives? Dylan's trying to come in. Come on, Dylan.
I just shot Zach a text, so we'll see what he says.
Just shot Zach?
I shot him a text.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I made a baby.
Well,
It's pretty
You want to know
cool.
something ironic?
Up to 12 of you. Who did I just lose?
I don't know. He was just here and we just need Drake.
You want to know something funny, Ms. Z?
Yes.
This morning, I accidentally put on my scrubs for EMT.
What?
Repeat. Say it again.
I accidentally put my scrubs on this morning.
She's
Hey.
prepared.
I think they're comfortable.
I know, right?
Allison, you don't want to come in, Allie. Okay, hold on. Kaylee, I don't have a parent address for you. Email address.
I'm gonna ask my mom because
Yeah, just shoot me one.
she has like 2. Also, for the thing we were supposed to print, my printer is like, we're ordering a new one, but the one we have right now is like linked to like one computer. My mom doesn't know the login to it, so she's trying to figure it out. But I couldn't print the thing because of that.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready to answer this for one of my students online, and the answer is go to your book and find a body structure, outline it. Sophia, I think yours is on page 238, and you can use him instead of a printed form.
Poppy! What's its name, Logan?
Her name is Mia.
Hi, Mia.
She probably doesn't want to be here, to be honest.
I would have gotten my cat, but he was hurt yesterday, so I'm not bothering him.
Okay, so Anna, you can, I'm not Anna, I'm sorry, Kaylee, you can draw your guy on page 212. Just copy the outline, trace it.
I find it funny that your dog, Logan, immediately looked at the screen when I said, hi, Mia.
Mm-hmm.
He looked so confused, like, what is going on?
Really wants out of my room's door is closed, so I should probably.
Hey, Drake.
My dog. His name's Chandler.
Actually, I don't have the. Is it okay if I go downstairs and get and print the guy?
Yeah.
Because I
or
don't
you
have
can-
it with me right now.
Yeah, or you can just trace it out of the book on page 12, 212.
Okay.
You needed
I'll be right.
2 copies, right?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Miss Ernie?
Yes.
We needed 2 copies, right?
One for today. Good job, Juan. And then one for next week. And We're going really slow because it takes us a while to get everybody in. So we're probably not going to have the test on Tuesday. We're probably going to have to wait later.
We can find the guy. He's on Blackboard, right?
Yeah, he's on Blackboard.
I just let me try and see if I can print that out real quick.
Sure.
Have that. It's in module 11, right?
It is in
Oh,
module
9.
9.
Body. There we go. And we need 2, correct?
You need one today, but if you have the opportunity to print 2, go ahead and print it now.
Okay. This is the right printer. Yeah, it's cool.
Drake, you look very festival.
Oh, Paige just let her kitty in. Does your cat go with you wherever you go?
Well, no, my cat's been in my room all day. My dog just came in.
Ah,
Jackson,
Your
No.
dog and cat get along very
can't
well.
pick him up. He's a mastiff, so I'm not picking him up.
all right, guys. So let's talk about endocrine. What have we read and what do you understand? And raise your hand with it's the clap motion right now. You want to share something? I guess I got to put you all up here so I can see you. Anybody have a hand raised? Yes, Logan, go ahead and unmute yourself.
The pituitary looks really weird, and it's in the brain. We've already gone over where it is,
Yep.
but it at first when I saw it, I thought it was the testes because those also secrete testosterone, so I'd assumed that's what it was. But no, it's the pituitary.
Yeah.
But
Way up there in the brain, a lot smaller than your testes though. But no,
Yeah.
it is actually 2 glands,
Yeah.
anterior and posterior.
yeah,
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you for sharing. Anything anybody wants to share about what you've read? Go ahead, Cassie.
The negative feedback you get from your body occurs when your blood falls past a certain level.
Yeah, actually, any kind of situation, if your respiratory rate is different, if your heart rate slows down, if your urine is too low, your body automatically has that negative feedback. Whatever's wrong, your body always wants to get back to homeostasis, so it puts in that negative feedback. You're exactly right. Good job. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, well, we're going to jump in then. I'm going to jump into the PowerPoint, but I'm going to jump into, did we get to the questions yet? We didn't get to the questions in the PowerPoint, correct? Okay, so let me fix this real quick. Slideshow, beginning. Doing two things at once. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. All righty. Okay. So we determined that all glands are either endocrine or exocrine glands. Endo means what, Emilio? You can unmute yourself.
I don't know.
Endo. Remember the silly phrase I used? Endos. Indoors, inside. Okay. You can go ahead and unmute. I mean, you can mute. So if it's an endocrine, you guys remember what we said medical terminology, CRINE means.
Yeah.
Okay, what does crine mean?
Is it a secrete?
Yes, good job. Dylan, secrete. Give yourself a piece of candy. Wish I had some to throw to you guys. It's a long throw. Crine, secrete. So these are glands that secrete chemicals into our bloodstream. Okay, usually it's our bloodstream. Sometimes they have tissues that secrete as well, but we're going to talk about the endocrine glands. So there's two types of glands. We said endocrine was the ones that secrete inside, but the exocrine glands, which we're not going to talk about right now, are the ones that secrete outside of our body. So those are things like our tear glands are called lacrimal. You guys remember lacrimal? Lac means to cry. Lake rim, remember that? And then how about our salivary? What does that sound like? Salivate, what does that mean? Yeah, Cassie?
To produce saliva.
Yes, absolutely, good job. Anybody know what sebaceous is?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Does anyone know what sebaceous glands are? Sebum was in the reading material for your senses. How about Miss Katie? Do you know anything about sebum?
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, is it like the oil or like, I don't know.
Absolutely oil. So the sebaceous glands can be found mostly in our skin and our ears. The most heavily loaded area of sebaceous glands are in our ear, and sebum or cerumen is made in our ear. Isn't that kind of funky? Ugh. Mucus glands, those are throughout our mouth and our intestinal system. Mammary glands are in our breasts, and yes, guys, you have some there too. And then, of course, we have our sweat glands all over. All right, gonna move to the next page. Okay. So the endocrine glands secrete chemicals into the bloodstream, and hormones are excitable. They're things that make our body really, woohoo, we're ready to do something. They excite cells. They also excite organs. So can you tell me what organs can get excited by hormones? Zane, you know any organs that get excited by hormones? He's like, don't pick on me, Mrs. Z. Nope, no guesses, Zane? I know you can probably think of one. How about Haley? What organs can get excited by hormones?
Are there a lot of them? Can I guess?
And there are quite a few.
The brain?
The brain is a good organ that definitely needs to get excited. Yes, good. Logan, are you raising your hand over there? Do you know of an
No,
organ?
I was just tossing away my workbook.
Okay. So do you know of an organ that needs to be excited?
Oh, I do, yeah. The muscles, but that's not. They
No.
can be
Yeah,
controlled
it
by
can be.
what?
Yes, muscles can be excited. Those are definitely organs.
Yes.
Good. Drake, I saw your hand raised. What's yours?
Well, I was thinking the men's private organ.
So it's called a penis, and that's acceptable. So yes, a penis can get excited. So can its testes, because they need to produce sperm. Good. Anyone else? Cassie?
The thyroid?
Yeah, the thyroid, definitely. Okay, so after all of those little fun things we just talked about, we're going to communicate to our organs and communicate to our tissues. And this is how we do it. The cell that produces the hormone, whichever cell that it is, sends that hormone through the bloodstream, and then the bloodstream then opens up its windows and the hormones cross the plasma membrane into the target cell. Sometimes it needs to have a key to open up, and sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to look at the next page. And who of you guys actually got to see the two videos I asked you to see? Give me a reaction thumbs up if you saw it. Oh no.
The PowerPoint isn't on ours.
It isn't.
We
Okay.
only have the other one that doesn't have it.
Okay. No big deal. Thanks for pointing that out. That's important.
Forgot to tell you yesterday I was going to. I just forgot to text you.
No, I'm glad. All right. So the target cells. So let's say we were talking about the sex cells earlier. The ovaries are sex cells, and the target, or those are organs, excuse me, and the target cells are the releasing cells to release the egg. So those are a cell that has to be a target, or a target, and the hormone that goes to that would be one of the gonadotropin hormones, which would be either hold on, let me find them. Either it would be progesterone or estrogen. And if it were one of those, then the ovary would release its egg, and then it would mature through the fallopian tube into and prepare itself for pregnancy. Okay, so that's what would happen if that cell was excited. It would release an egg. Okay, so here's an actual picture, and in your book, it's page 212. So if you don't have the printer available, you can copy this guy right here. And we're going to add in our lovely glands as we go through them. So there's two major classes of hormones that you guys need to know about. There's a steroid hormone and a non-steroidal hormone. So those two major classes you need to be understanding of. The steroid hormone, this guy here, he's water soluble, and he needs a key to enter a cell membrane because water and oil, or water and fats, don't mix, right? They bump heads. So this guy needs a key to unlock the door to let him in through the receptor, okay? And that's called a first messenger. Then once the first messenger opens or unlocks the door, the second messenger is a protein that's triggered. So after the door is unlocked, the protein is triggered and can go in. That second protein then goes into the DNA, which is where? Where do we find DNA? Paige. Inside of a cell, where do we find DNA?
In a nucleus.
Perfect, absolutely. So the protein then goes into the nucleus. The nucleus then makes a new protein. Okay, so the new protein then becomes the second messenger's hormone that activates what's going to happen with that either cell or the gland. Do we get that? So this non-steroidal hormone has to have a key. He cannot open the door by himself. And then once he opens the door with the special protein key, he triggers the second messenger to go and do the cell activity. All right, now let's go to the next page. The second messenger system, we're gonna, here's the first messenger system. So here's what I was talking about. The protein hormone comes to here. It's see, it has a nice little shape here called a pointer shape, I guess is what we'll call it, or a bullet shape. It then goes to the cell receptor right here. This cell receptor, wait, you guys don't have this one? Let me, let's finish this thought up here, and then when I take a break, I'll go to the other PowerPoint that you guys can see. All right, so this cell receptor turns the key, opens the lock. This then opens up a channel. This hole becomes a channel, and the protein goes in. The protein then meets energy, ATP, creates an enzyme. Get you guys out of the way for a second. Okay, the enzyme here takes the second messenger, activates the other enzyme, and becomes regulated. Okay? Who's got the time for me? Alik, what time? I never mind, 12:40. All right, so give me a second. I'm gonna close this guy out. I put our video on pause for a second. Resuming recording now. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. And going back to your PowerPoint. Right. So the endocrine secretes a chemical messenger that has to go to a target in the body. The target's either going to be a tissue. We have epithelial tissue, we have bone tissue, we have all kinds of tissue, right? Or it's going to be a target gland. So it's going to be another gland that that chemical acts on. Who wants to answer the question for me? Just told you what they are. Yeah. Go ahead, Cassie. Somebody else raise their hand? I can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to do two things at once and it's not working. There we go. Okay. So the answer is that a cell or an organ that's influenced by a specific chemical. All right. The chemical substance that are secreted are called hormones. And hormones, we said, are exciting. So they excite the tissue or the gland or the organ that they're targeting. So we also talked about the negative feedback. Good job, Cassie talked about that. And the 90% of our body is all negative feedback. So if we need something, our body stimulates chemicals. The chemicals then stimulate the organ, and the organ changes whatever it's doing to produce a different effect. So if we're cold, we shiver, and that makes us warm. If we're hot, we sweat, and then the air blows on us, and that cools us off. Who wants to, I'm not going to say who because you never volunteer. I'm just going to make you volunteer. Alik, tell me one positive feedback loop in our body. What? You don't know?
No.
That's okay. I'd rather you hear, I don't know. So let me say it has to do with a woman's body only. This is the main positive feedback that we all know, should know about. And that is delivering a,
Maybe.
yeah, okay. I can show you a really cool video about it, but I'd just rather tell you. When you have a negative feedback loop, you have a problem. The body secretes the hormone, it acts on the organ makes a change, and then let's say we're cold. This hormone that's secreted goes to the muscles begin to shiver, and then when we shiver, that friction warms up our body and our body becomes warm, and then the negative feedback stops the production of shiver, we get warm, we're fine. We're back to our homeostasis. If we're pregnant, though, we have to continue that loop. It doesn't stop. It continues and continues and continues until the baby is fully grown. Then if we're delivering a baby, it continues and continues and continues until the baby comes out. And then it still continues. So the oxytocin continues until the uterus shrinks back down to size, and that takes 6 full weeks. So that's a positive loop that keeps going back and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going for about 6 weeks. So negative feedbacks usually happen very quickly, and positive feedbacks take a long period of time. Okay. Okay, so here's your endocrine glands. These are the ones that you're going to need to know. We're going to go through them each one by themselves. The first one we're going to touch base on is your pituitary gland. And like Logan pointed out, it's 2 parts. It's 2 sacs that are hanging in the center of our brain called the midbrain. Okay, the first one is called the anterior pituitary. And here's a better picture of it. This side here is anterior. Who remembers medical terminology? Oh, sorry. About an anterior pituitary. Anterior, what's that medical terminology? I'm gonna go with Emilio. Anterior, what is anterior, sir?
Wouldn't that be the front?
Yes, sir. Good job. And then Anna, what's our posterior?
Isn't it posterior, like in the back?
Absolutely, good job. So the anterior and the posterior, the front and the back lobes make up the 2 glands that are held together in the center of our brain, okay? The anterior lobe is usually known as the master gland. Who read that? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, or hands up. Good job. Yep, yep. Good job, guys. All right. The master gland produces hormones and secretes hormones. It does both, production and secretion. Here's a top view looking into a real brain. Isn't that cool? The size of a grape.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought that was a nebula.
Well, isn't it amazing that the creator makes everything pretty much similar in different sizes? And that's my own opinion. All right, so it's connected to the hypothalamus. It's just in front of the hypothalamus. And the master gland, the anterior and the posterior pituitary, controls several different body processes. And who's that clicking? Oh, never mind, that's my fan. Doing extra work. And I opened my door back up. Sorry. So it processes the breast milk production. It processes the adrenal cortex, which is where our stress locator is, our fight or flight symptoms. It acts on the thyroid gland, which regulates our metabolism. It acts on growth, which is our bones. It acts on ovaries and testes, which are our gonadotropins. And it acts on the kidneys and the uterus. So look how many things that one little bitty tiny grape in the middle of our brain controls. Let's talk about the anterior pituitary. So first of all, inside the brain, you're going to draw in your man that double pituitary, or if you want to draw it right there on your book. Okay, so that's what you want to draw on that man that we just printed out. And you're going to label the first part of it A for anterior and B, or P, excuse me, for posterior. So the anterior pituitary, the A one, you're going to draw some lines out. Now, can you guys see my man? I know his colors aren't really bright. Over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines that all deal with the anterior pituitary gland. And inside, it looks like a sunburst coming out from that brain. The first one that we're going to talk about is GH, or growth hormone. This hormone is really amazing because it deals with our body growing. So its primary organ target would be what? Juan. He's like, what?
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Growth hormone secretes is the chemical that's secreted, and its target organs would be what? If it's growth and development. What needs to continue to grow throughout life?
Our bones.
Yes, good. Yeah, our bones recycle themselves every 7 years. You get a brand new set of bones. Okay, so they keep recycling. So the growth hormone is triggered, and always the target organ is the bones. There's other organs that are involved, like the muscles. There's other brain tissues that it affects as well. The second, and so when I drew mine, right over here, I didn't draw mine, but you could put a little picture of a bone in that section so that you would know that GH, target organ, is a bone. Now, everything I'm talking about with these hormones is listed on table 11.1 in your book on page 218. So if you miss it, you can find it there in your book. The second hormone that we're going to talk about is prolactin hormone. It's called PR or PRL. Most people, yes, Cassie,
Did you say 218?
I did, page 218 in your book. You see that table 11-1? Is that a yes? Okay. All right, so prolactin hormone is about the breast tissue because it's lactation, okay? So it develops the breast tissue and milk production. And this happens during pregnancy most of the time. So if you wanted to, for PRL, draw a picture of a mammary gland. I'm trying to see if I did that. I did. Mine's drawn in orange, so it's not a very good picture. But here's what I drew. I said PRL, prolactin, and I drew a picture of a breast and the gland inside the breast. So you could draw that just to help you remember. Now, all these pictures that you're drawing, they're for you. When you actually do this for your test, all you have to do is write where the glands are and the chemicals that the chemical or hormones that they respond to. Okay? The extra stuff is just for helping you. I know you're bored, guys, so I want you to take a break, stand up, walk around. Are you okay, Cassie?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't yawning because I was bored.
No, it's okay. You're not the only one. It's hard to sit and listen to this stuff. It gets a little boring. So we're going to take a break, guys. It is 2 minutes until 1, so come back at 10 after, okay? I'm just going to go stand and go to the ladies' room myself and get a drink.
Can I show off my hedgehog?
Yeah, this is your time.
I'm gonna grab it. 1 second.
I was about to say, can we just stay in the chat?
Yes, you can do whatever you like. Go. And okay, we're back on. Now I'm going to do that sharing thing. Where is it? Down here. Back
Just
where
press
we were.
Alt S.
Do what?
Just press Alt S.
For me?
Yeah, it automatically puts you onto screen sharing.
Alt F. Well, you guys are good at learning this stuff. Thank you.
If you hover your mouse over the things on the bottom of the screen, it tells you easy ways to do it.
Okay. You're awesome. Thank you for helping. Okay, so we talked about growth hormone and we said that it was the bones, that it was the target. We said prolactin was the mammary glands that was a target. Cassie, I need to see your video during class. Thank you, ma'am. Thyroid stimulating hormone is the next one that we need to talk about, and it is growth and secretion of the thyroid gland. So thyroid stimulating has 3 chemicals or hormones that it secretes and or stimulates. The first one is T3. And T3 is triiota thyroid. Oh, wait, I don't want to go there yet. We're still on anterior pituitary. Easy for me to say. So the thyroid stimulates the thyroid and its hormones, leaving it at that. The next one is the adrenal-corticotropic hormone, also known as ACTH. And this one affects growth, which is the bones, and secretion of the adrenal cortex. So when I did this, here's what I drew. Here's my thyroid for the TSH. And then over here for the ACTH, I drew the triangle that sits on top of your kidneys. And it has 3 layers around it, okay? And so this one is the ACTH. Growth, thyroid, masculine, prolactin. Then the next one is the follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, and that stimulates estrogen in females and sperm in males. So I drew this guy right here. This is an ovary and a fallopian tube, and this is a gonad or a testes, and this is the spermatozoa cord. Okay, and that's just what I drew. You can draw whatever you like to help you memorize what gonadotropin hormone is. Okay, so FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, that is for the male and female gonads. Then you've got luteinizing hormone, also a hormone that is used in the female reproductive, and that one is, I've got a uterus here somewhere, way up here, oxytocin and luteinizing hormone right there. Oh wait, that's the posterior. Prolactin, luteinizing. Oh, I'm sorry. I digress. Luteinizing hormone and is estrogen producing in the female and progesterone producing in the female as well. So luteinizing hormone is just for the ovaries. Okay, last but not least, interstitial, I can't say it, interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH. It's a whole lot easier to say. So this one is required for production of testosterone in men. Gonna move on. You got all these guys? All right, now you've got posterior. Sheesh. This is the back half of your pituitary, and it has to do with vasopressin, which is also known as ADH, antidiuretic hormone. And anti means against, diurese means to urinate or to lose liquids from the body. And so what happens is it changes the kidney's mind, literally, and no urine is done, and the water's pulled back into the bloodstream. So urine production is reduced. And for this posterior one, I drew a line from the posterior pituitary out here, and here it is right here. And I said it deals with the kidney. So ADH and kidney. And then of course up here, I said was the next one, oxytocin. And it causes the uterus to contract. And it also causes the mammary glands to start letting down milk. So vasopressin is also ADH, and that stops urine production and keeps the water fluid in the bloodstream. Oxytocin stimulates for contractions of the uterus during birth. Cassie, where'd you go? Can you move your screen back down so I can see you, please?
Sorry, I'm grabbing a drink, Miss Z. I'll be right there.
Okay. And Anna, it's hard to see your beautiful face too. I see you, Kaylee, with your kitty cat. All right, moving along. The next one, yes, Juan.
Can you post a picture of this on Blackboard of your diagram? 'Cause it's kind of difficult to see it.
I will.
Thank
Actually,
you.
do you have your book?
Yes.
Okay. Go to page 216. And that figure is perfect for your anterior and posterior. But yes, I will post my picture completely drawn. Let me
Thank
take
you.
a picture. You're very welcome. It's a great question. Taking a picture now.
Is most everyone in their beds right now?
Sorry, I'm gonna try and do this right. AWN.co. Ooh, don't know how to spell my name. There we go. Endo.
Hey, if we're being honest, I wasn't even doing any schoolwork before the meeting started.
Okay, I just sent the picture. Ooh, I'm gonna pause this for a second because I just got a video, a poster board today.
I love the Hamilton poster there, Logan.
Got Wayne Brady's signature on it.
Lucky. Everyone is definitely in their beds today.
Oh, look what I got, endocrine.
Almost everyone.
Here it is. Can you guys see the anterior and posterior pituitary? Is it too close or is it a good picture?
It's a good picture of it, yeah.
I'll hang that on the wall behind me for our next class on Monday.
Up close and personal with Ms. Z.
Yes, it is. Okay, so the next gland is the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is so amazing. It only has two I'm sorry, it has 3 hormones that it secretes. It is, as this picture shows, shaped like a butterfly, pretty much an upside down butterfly. I don't know, maybe not. And if you find your larynx, your voice box, just below that is right here, is where your thyroid is connected. Hey, Wrigley, out. Go on. Get out of here. Thank you, sir. Sorry, guys. Oops, I had my video paused. Start it up again. Okay, so the thyroid gland is a butterfly-shaped organ that's right here on your larynx or just underneath of it. And it's about 2 inches below your tongue or your tonsils, okay? And it has a very large blood supply because it regulates our metabolism, okay? So the reason that it regulates our or how it regulates our metabolism is that it secretes these hormones that check our electrolyte levels and calcium in our blood, which stimulates our muscles to move. Haley, are you sleeping on me? You're laying down in the classroom. Okay.
That's me every day.
All right. So you can see where it's located. And these are the 3 hormones. Number T3 is also known as triiodothyronine. Isn't that a nice word? Triiodothyronine. And that is on, thank you, is on page 218. And if you guys all want to practice it, it's tri, T-R-I, I-O, iodine, iota, thyro, which is thyroid, right? Nine. Thanks, Emilio. Good job. So triiodothyronine. And then for every 1 molecule of thyroid or synthroid, if you have to have a synthetic medication to replace it, it has 3 molecules of iodine. So for every 1 thyroid, it has 3 iodine, and that's why it's a T3. Then you also have T4, and how many iodines do you think it has? Drake. If it's called a T4, what do you think? How many iodines? Yes, good job. He's holding up 4 fingers. Ooh, 2 more people have things to say? Sorry, I can't see you. Who had something to share? Nobody? Yeah, Paige, what do you want to say?
Garrett. Garrett wants to speak.
Garrett, what do you want to say?
So I was just wondering, you were saying how the thyroid regulates our metabolism and it has a lot to do with our electrolytes, correct?
Yes.
So if our body is missing a set amount of electrolytes or we're super low on them, will that cause issues with our thyroid?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just wasn't 100% positive if just because that regulated that, if it would cause those issues there or somewhere else in the body, but you would know if you were lacking something, maybe electrolytes in the thyroid area.
What would happen is your thyroid would start working overtime or undertime. So it would either be a hypothyroidism, which means it's working what, over or under? Katie.
Over.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
Good
sorry.
job. That's fine. Good. So Katie, tell me the hyper one. It's overactive, so therefore it's
Sorry, did you not hear me that whole time?
no, because you were muted.
Okay,
That's okay.
sorry, I forgot to unmute. Okay. So you said
Hyper is
is
over,
okay,
and then hypo would be
below.
below. So we have the two different types of activity of the thyroid. And so if it's overactive, it will secrete too much and can cause a problem. And we're going to learn about those problems in a little while. Okay. All right. Then the next thing, hormone, my dog's in here again, sorry. The next hormone that the thyroid deals with is calcitonin. So calcitonin brings the calcium into the blood. Okay, so if we are missing our thyroid, we would have a problem with regulating the amount of calcium in our blood. Do you guys know what calcium is important for besides bones? How about Juan? Have I picked on you enough today? Do you know what it's good for?
Um, hmm, uh, I don't know.
How about Miss Kaylee? What do you think calcium in our blood is important for? Any idea?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Dylan, what do you think?
It's good for your muscles and your heart.
Good. Absolutely.
Activation.
Yeah. You need calcium in order for our heart to be excitable, to pump, to our muscles to move. Our heart is the most important muscle in our body. And so if we don't have calcium, it will die. It will stop moving. Yes. Who else? Unmute yourself and just talk to me. Nope. Keeps telling me I have 3 messages, so I'm kind of confused. Okay. If we have too much calcium in our blood and it affects our heart, what do you think is going to happen to the heart? Hear it. Oh, Logan, did you pop up?
Like it won't beat properly. It won't beat properly. It'll go too fast.
Yes, it'll be too fast, so therefore we would not have a regular heartbeat and our blood wouldn't pump and our vital wouldn't get moved. Nutrients and yep.
They would just stop. Like it could cause fibrillation, which would make the vitals just stop because it wouldn't actually be pumping. It would just be quivering.
Yeah, it would be quivering, so it wouldn't pump anything. So we wouldn't get oxygen, we wouldn't get nutrients, our blood supply to the brain would stop, and therefore we go in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay? So we need the calcitonin, we need the thyroxine and the triiodothyronine. Ooh, big word.
Gesundheit.
All right. The other thing, what is it telling me for this milk here? Let me move you guys out of the way for a second. Page 205. I don't know what it's talking about. It's not your book, it's another book. I just looked at it. All right. Oh, that's an important one. Formation of protein and increases growth tissue growth. It stimulates the breakdown of glycogen in the liver. That's important to note as well. And then in calcitonin, we said it controls the levels of calcium in our blood. Now, we can survive and live without most of our thyroid. We have to have a medication. Yes, Kathy.
So a friend of my family, they had to have their thyroid cut in half because it was inflamed.
It was inflamed? Yeah. So what happens is then it can break the airway. It can cut off breathing. So that would be important to get it taken care of. Yes, Logan. You gotta unmute, bud.
My aunt actually had thyroid, like cancer in her thyroid, and they had to take it out and then use radiation. We couldn't actually be near her for a couple days,
right?
Because of radiation stuff, with
Poisoning.
remnants.
Yep. Paige, you hanging out outside? Oh, that's your lamp.
That's outside. She was just in a tent.
Oh, how cool is that? Okay.
My brother's playing trumpet, so I can't hear you guys, so I went outside.
Oh, okay. Does he have band or something?
Yes.
Ah. Oh, Dylan went out for a minute. Come on back in, Dylan. All right. Attached to the back side of the thyroid gland are your parathyroid glands. And there are 4 of them. Their function is to secrete parathormone, which acts the opposite of calcitonin. It increases the calcium concentration in the blood. So if you don't have a thyroid and you don't have parathyroids, your calcium level has to be regulated on a regular basis. You have to have blood work done on a very regular basis to check your calcium levels. You can survive without them, but it's very hard. So the parathormone, or the PTH, is released from the parathyroid glands and stimulates the blood secretion stimulates the calcium secretion in the blood. So the parathormone increases the osteoclast activity. Osteoclast, remember we said clast was to break up the bone tissue, which releases calcium. That might be important for a test. So it's antagonistic with calcitonin. Calcitonin tones down the amount of calcium in the blood, and parathormone increases the amount of calcium in the blood. The next gland that we're looking at is your thymus gland. Your thymus is just above your heart. So I'll show you a big picture here. Here's your heart. And right here is your thymus. So this is your big heart. And here's your thymus. And up there's your thyroid. Okay? The thymus gland is both endocrine gland and an organ of the lymph system. So thymus helps to regulate the T cells of our body while we're growing. Only while we're growing. It helps us to make our immune system. We only have a certain amount of T cells in our body. So it's important that we keep them regulated. It is larger in adult or in childhood, and it's smaller as an adult because once you stop growing, it turns pretty much to fat tissue, no longer an actual tissue. Yes, Logan.
Why is it that it turns to fat? Is it just already like made of the same stuff?
It is made of fat. It's a lipid protein mixture. And then when it actually is done creating the immune system, it no longer has a job. So it's non-functional, so to speak. Okay?
It's unemployed.
Excuse me?
It's unemployed.
Yes, it gets a pink slip. And it does have a hormone called thymosin. And again, it's just used during puberty, up until puberty, I should say. But it's most active during puberty. And when we're done with puberty, it's done. You good, Paige? Okay. Did you just give me a thumbs up? Yeah, okay. All right. The next guy is adrenal cortex. And while that's a good picture, kind of hard to see. If I can get it up there close enough. So here's your kidneys. Here's your heart, just below your heart, behind in the retroperitoneum, behind the peritoneum are your kidneys. They hang out in the back of your abdomen. And on top of them, you see those little triangles on top? They're bright pink. Those guys are your adrenals. Adrenal. So they're on top of your renal kidneys. Can you see it there? Is it a good picture? Garrett, give me a out loud yes or no. This guy right here.
Are you trying to show us the picture itself?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Are you trying to show us the diagram?
Yes.
Okay, go up. Up
Better?
a little bit more. There you go. That's perfect. There's a little bit of a glare, but we can make out for the most part what it is. Yep, that's perfect.
Okay. So that's your adrenal. So ad meaning on top of or connected to the renals, which are your kidneys. These guys secrete steroids. All right. It has two parts. It has an adrenal medulla. Remember we said medulla was the center, and the adrenal cortex, which is the outer layers. And the outer layers has 3 layers. One has to do with mineralocorticoids, and right here they are. So when I said corticoid, corticoid simply means steroid, okay? So the mineralocorticoids are right here. And the main mineralocorticoid that you need to know about is aldosterone. Aldosterone. And that is what increases the water in the body and the salt levels. So where aldosterone is, increases water and decreases salt. Increases salt. Because where water is, salt is. Do you agree with me? We talked about that, yes. Then we have glucocorticoids, which is the second layer of the adrenal cortex. And minerals The minerals that we dealt with were salt and water. And down here, we have glucose. So, Paige, you want to take a guess? Glucocorticoid? What does it sound like?
Something to do with sugar.
Yes, good. It increases the amount of sugar in the blood and it helps to break down fat. So it's cortisone. Cortisone also helps deal with allergies and our immune system and our inflammation. So without the adrenal glands working very well, we'd have a problem dealing with allergies. We'd have a problem dealing with anything that makes anything become inflamed. Yes, Logan.
Once again, I don't have any allergies that I know of, so does that mean my adrenal glands are working really well?
Not necessarily that your adrenal glands are working, but that your immune system is really good.
Oh yeah.
So, but if you have an allergy, that means you haven't figured one, you haven't determined one yet. Your body says, "Oh, everything's pretty cool with us." You got a pretty likable immune system. It likes everything. But there are those of us like me, I have a real problem with some grasses and some pollens. So my immune system is good because I don't get sick, but I still have an allergy or a reaction to pollen, and therefore I become inflamed. Yes, Kathy.
The only thing I'm allergic to is penicillin, and other than that, I rarely get sick.
That's good. Penicillin is another one. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Garrett.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask, is it more common for people to not have any allergies at all, or for people to have allergies? So is there like the ratio from people with allergies to people without allergies? Is it higher for people to have allergies or lower to not?
That's a great question, and that's a really good thought-provoking question. I don't know the answer to that. That would be a great physician question. But write it down and ask your doctor next time because he's probably going to know more than I. But I would think that it's going to be about 60-40 to probably the ratio of allergies, because a lot of our parents don't protect the children and don't take them out in public. They take them out in public too soon, and therefore they become sensitive quicker because their immune system's not built. That's my guess, and I could be
Okay.
wrong.
I was just I've always just kind of wondered because I mean, can people like just not have allergies at all? That's something that like you can have, right? Just not have an allergy to anything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if there was like like sure everyone out there is allergic to something, but I mean you can legitimately just not be allergic to something.
Right.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
just never sure on that. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Okay, the next part is androgens. The androgens are the male sex hormone that's similar to testosterone, but is not testosterone. It is only effective and under, it's one of the, like, how do I say this? It's the least exciting of the sex hormones. However, how you can remember the adrenal cortex is SSS or triple S, sex, salt, and sugar. Does that help you remember the adrenal corticoid steroids? Because you've got minerals, which is salt, sugar, which is glucocorticoid, and androgens, which is sex. Now, it only really affects the female, which helps the woman to be sexually aroused. In the male, the testosterone overpowers the androgens, so it's not as important, okay?
Juan's raising his hand.
I see you, Juan. Go ahead.
I have a question about blood
Go ahead.
and how does it matter? Okay, because when you want to donate blood, you have to be a certain age,
Yes.
even though you regenerate blood or you get blood. Why does it matter about your age? Like,
Because you're still producing, you're still growing. And so therefore your T cells, your immune system isn't fully developed until you go through puberty completely. And so if you give your blood, you could give away T cells and ruin your immune system. So it's a great question.
okay,
Did I answer it well?
yes, thank you.
Okay, good. All right. So that is all of the cortex. It's the surrounding layer of the adrenal gland. And I think this is probably going to be the last thing I touch on today. Let me look at my calendar here. Yeah, it is. We're almost done. The adrenal cortex is done. Now we're going to do the adrenal medulla. And there's two hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine. And you guys should already know about these guys. Fight or flight. Zane, did you raise your hand? I'm excited. Oh, you just scratched your head? Leak, are you laughing at me? All right, so fight or flight. Tell me two things you know about fight or flight, Miss Anna. I can't hear you. You're muted. There you go.
Wait, what's the question again?
Tell me two things you know about fight or flight.
That they're connected to this nervous system.
Yes.
And
that's one. Good.
Basic. I don't know.
Okay. Alik, you want to help her? Yes, you know something about the fight or flight. If you're getting ready to go fight something, what happens to your body? Tell me something that happens to your body.
It gives you a rush.
It gives you a rush, adrenaline, right?
Yes.
So look at that, adrenal medulla, adrenaline, it's all connected. So what happens to your stomach during fight or flight, Alik?
It contracts.
Okay, it slows down, doesn't it? We don't eat when we're getting ready to do a fight. Emilio, can you tell me something that happens to our eyes during fight or flight? Don't forget, you're muted. There you go.
It can get what's the word? Is it like ovulated, I think?
Dilated.
Yeah.
Yep, they dilate. So they get what? Bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Yes. And so during fight or flight, we're ready for anything to happen. So our eyes get really wide and we're looking around. All right. Drake, tell me something else that happens during fight or flight.
Do your muscles tense up?
Yeah, your muscles get lots of energy, don't they? Okay. And let me find somebody else to pick on. Oh, Emilio has a question or something to say. You're good? Go ahead, Juan.
So, why do you get a rush of adrenaline when you go on a roller coaster?
Fear. When you're scared, your heart gets really, oh wait, that's another thing. You can go ahead and tell me what happens to your heart with fear and fight or flight.
It pumps rapidly.
Pumps very quickly. Good job. And Dylan, is there anything else that we need to know about fight or flight?
That your blood pressure goes up because
A little bit.
blood.
Yeah, our heart rate goes up and so does our blood pressure because that fear gets us prepared to pounce or gets us prepared to flee. All right, guys. Thinking that's all I'm going to do today. Let me just hit this button. Yeah, we're not going to do the sex glands today. They're there, but we'll do them on Monday. When you come back on Monday, guys, it's 12 o'clock on the nose. No late buddies, nothing. You got to be here because it takes everybody else's time, okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Everybody unmute for me.
Miss V.
Yeah.
Isn't epinephrine it's like the same thing you use for an EpiPen to get rid of your allergies, right?
It's exactly.
Yes.
And you never know whether you're gonna fight or flight until you're actually in the situation where it happens.
Yep.
So, are you having a conversation with your shoe there, Garrett? I said Garrett.
Okay, I got a couple questions I want to ask. Garrett, did you want
Yes.
to ask a question specifically?
Ask a question.
Yeah, about 1:30, you said you had a question to ask me, and I missed it.
I have a question at 1:30.
Huh?
Said I had a question at 1:30.
Yeah, that's okay. And Emilio, iodine in too much can definitely be poisonous to the human body. Good job. All right. And Juan, did we cover your question?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right. And thank you very much, Cassie, for your compliment. Okay. Making sure I got all the questions answered. I'm going to stop our video.